it's Linda McKenna from Golden Rule Senior Placement Services coming to you today with Tuesday Talks. Our topic today is what are the biggest concerns and challenges for our seniors in recent times and for their future. I had gotten some pointers from a wonderful columnist who wrote a blog, and I wanted to share my findings and along with my own input as well from my experiences with senior placement and honestly with my own aged parents. You know, we're living much longer these days, and planning for the future seems to be so far out with a lot of us. Like today, I had two clients that I was working with, and at this community that we visited was a lady that was 102 and 103. And the lady that was 102, as I was having a wonderful conversation with her, she's the last of her family members. So needless to say, she outlived her family, and so we are living much longer, and preparing for the future seems to be so far away, but it isn't, really and truly isn't, because if we don't plan now into the future, it becomes very, very cumbersome, especially when you don't have the family to support you. When we see ourselves with our own aged parents, we now have a good process in our minds that, wow, we're aging fast. As I was having this conversation with this lovely lady today, I said, can you believe it's May 10th? And she says, I know. I said, what happened to January? Time does go by very, very quickly. As my very astute grandmother, in her little Italian wisdom, would say, just wait. When you get older, it goes faster. I thought that was kind of corny and not very realistic, but I wish I could tell her now, Nana, you were right. So when we see our own aging parents, we put a lot of things into perspective. It's like, oh my gosh, we're getting older too, and we have to prepare for the future. So there is some concerns when we're dealing with these challenges and all, that what we face today, that we really have to plan for the future so that we can support them in many ways, not only in the physical sense, but in the financial sense. One of the first things that are the challenges or concerns of our senior loved ones is what they face today is a sense of purpose. It's what we call ageism. And, we've been dealing a lot with COVID, and a lot of them have been isolated. But as they get older, sometimes isolation without COVID is problematic. Why? Because they're more staying at home. They can't travel as much, meaning go in the car and do errands. So they're not as independent as they used to be. And they feel that they become a burden on their family members, but they don't feel like they have a purpose anymore, that they are not contributing to the day's activities. When they were able to go shopping, do social activities, it was much more that they were independent and they didn't have to depend on their children, nieces, nephews, grandchildren, whoever that it may be. So they really don't like the fact that they have nearly no purpose in day to day, and they can contribute to our day. But we should learn from this is that our elders, we learn so much from the history, what they have really navigated through their young years, maybe through the depression, and all through the struggles of rearing children, maybe getting married, buying a home, rearing children, and then preparing for retirement, after a big career, a long career. So, but we have to learn that history, how we learn from them, history really projects what we're going to go through in our own lives in the future. So they're very valuable, and we should listen to what they have to say. As I did today with my little lady that I was touring, 90 years old, I said, please tell me, where did your life begin? Because we're all talking about now, but we don't really know how her life began. Oh boy, what a conversation that was. And I realized she was more feisty than I even imagined her to be, and how she prospered. She was one of many children, and she had many children. And this lady had a wonderful story, and I learned so much about her. And she was so delighted to talk about that. And she feels that she still has a purpose. So when you have that conversation, remember that's in the back of their mind is how much they can contribute to you, their child, their friend, their neighbor, and what they could do for you. Also, another concern and challenge is financial security and insecurity. Since we're living longer, there might be more plans to work longer to be able to afford retirement. Think about that. We're going through really tough times now financially, meaning, as far as the cost of living is very, very expensive. So when you're on a fixed limited budget, when you are retired or haven't planned for many things that might go disarray in your home, a new air conditioner unit, $4,000 or $5,000 is something that you didn't plan for. So, the financial security is really becoming a very big hurdle today. For the reason is that people feel like they have to live longer so they could afford to retire. Budgeting seems to be difficult, as we know, as working people. Just going from here to there, you have to think about it because of the cost of gas. Cost of food has gone up. So this is also relative of our seniors, of them going through that as well. Um, we become a very online society. We pay our bills online, or we purchase online. We do everything online. For our seniors who are still adapting to technology, that could be a concern as well too for financial insecurity or security, meaning that they could fall into exploitation. They're very vulnerable. They could have be fraud involved, scam. There's so many things that you hear what seniors have been exploited out of money, but have been scammed into deals, or getting a phone call from a grandson that is really not the grandson. So they're wiring money for this grandson. It's really scary. So, this is a challenge and concern for our seniors going into, that are current now, but also to plan for the future. Another concern and challenge is the difficulty with everyday tasks and mobility, and that's what we call ADLs. You'll hear me say that a lot. Those are activities of daily living, which what we take for granted that we do on a daily basis becomes more challenging as we grow older and have more comorbidities. And what they are is, grooming, bathing, like I said, what we take for granted, eating, taking medications, transferring, and mobility. It becomes very much issue of, especially if they're gait, that they're not able to walk safely. So mobility could also, if it's declined and it's decreased, means that, oh my God, there could be chances of falls. So there's a safety issue. So as we see them getting older, this is a concern and a challenge for them as well, and their fear of falling becomes very, very evident. So they don't do a lot of these activities, daily livings, like bathing frequently, because they're afraid of falling in the shower, especially unaided living home alone. So safety and mobility and compromise ADLs is something seniors are afraid to talk about because they're embarrassed that they're not able to do maybe simple tasks anymore. But it is also a very much safety issue for them. I always say it's not a matter of if it's going to happen a fall, it's a matter of when. So let's really prepare. be a little bit more proactive, and we're never going to prevent everything. We can't wrap them in bubble wrap, but is to have make sure that the safety measures in their home and where they're ambulating is safe from clutter and all. So these are considerations that you need to be discussing with your senior loved one as they age, but it's also very much a concern of theirs. They might not tell you, but it's a concern and a fear of them themselves. Finding the right care plan and access to services. As they get older and they have more needs to be covered, like bathing, as I said, or the ADLs, or simple tasks, washing clothes, light housekeeping, um, shopping, cooking, those become very, very cumbersome. So, who's going to be involved in this? Is family going to partake and do this for them? How many hours a day are you going to spend with them? I know you have family of your own. What is the plan? You know, we need to plan now. We shouldn't wait till it's imminent and then have to say, oh my God, now we really have to really think about this. Because, you know, when you are pressed for time, you make harsh decisions. So, you know, we want to plan this out because it has all these other items that we spoke about just prior here, the financial security of it, living longer, feeling a purpose. Also, the care provisions are very much that we should talk about this as well too. Realize as we get older, we have more complex medical needs and maybe more physical disabilities, abnormality of gait, not able to walk, more of a shuffle. Maybe somebody broke a hip, so now they're not walking correctly. They're using an assisted device. Some really say I could use a cane, but really should be using a walker. So that's why, you want to really figure out this process beforehand. Do you remain at home and have care come in the home? Is it family? Do they move in with you? Or is senior living a choice as assisted living as well too? So these are the plans and challenges and concerns we should have now, not wait till later on. I was just touching upon this is access to healthcare services. Do they have the right health insurance that they're not limited for care or ancillary help? Sometimes Medicare replacements are not appropriate, or having Medicare and a supplement might not be affordable. So you really have to weigh those options, but also to consider what their health conditions are at present. They're going to get, older and they're going to need more help. So is that health coverage going to be able to provide for them, the health insurance? Having the proper physician care. There's a lot of mobile physician services available that they could come into your home and have medical visits. There's telehealth. There's access to everything, because it might be cumbersome to go visit a doctor in the office if you're not there to drive them to, or them being able to get there. There is home health. Home health is different from home care. Home care is custodial and companionship, whereas home health is skilled services. Those are nurses and physical therapists and occupational therapists, speech therapists that provide care in the home senior living community, and it's by a doctor's order, and it's usually covered by health insurance. Is there a pharmacy? I can't get through to Walgreens, or I can't get through to CVS or any of the pharmacies. How is the meds going to be delivered or have access to it? There is options. There is a lot of pharmacies that deliver to home and in a safe manner. Are they taking their medications right at home? Again, things that we really need to prepare for their healthcare services for the future. And the last thing I want to talk about is end-of-life preparations. Having worked for hospice, I've had many I would say seminars or talks, and not many people really prepare for their end of life. Don't wait, because unfortunately, you might not be making the decisions that your senior loved one wanted. So having advance directives, see an elder law attorney, get those wills, advance directives done now while you're well, as so when in the future, and if that comes to play, they're going to follow exactly, your family is going to follow the directions that you put into place when you were well. That's feeding tubes or things that, prolong life or quality of life. So, again, prepare for the future and learn about what hospice is and palliative care. All I could say is plan and don't have that end hanging off. Plan ahead. Plan now for the inevitable future. We're all going to go down that path one day as we get older, and it is so much easier to plan now. I have a whole host of resources to help you. I'm there to be with you as well, to navigate it with you. Just utilize golden rule, and we treat our seniors the way we want to be treated, and that's the golden rule we should have with our senior loved ones as well. So to no further ado, I always have you go to my website. It's www.goldenruleseniorplacement.com, and there you will see my demographics. You will actually see my bio, various options, testimonials, these video talks, and so much more. So the best advice I can give you this week is to plan ahead and start now. Thank you for viewing Tuesday Talks. Until next week, have a blessed week and a safe week, and start planning. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. Bye-bye now.